Hello, my name is Jean. I am a knitter. I've been trying different microphones and they haven't been working very well, so I'm back to my old reliable setup. I know you all think I'm really slow, and yes, I really am a slow knitter, but I'm also retired and I have lots of time to knit, so I finished my shawl. I've even had time to block half of it because I don't have a space large enough to block the whole thing. So this side hasn't been blocked, and it's kind of gathered and this pattern doesn't show up very well. But this side has been blocked and the pattern shows up. And also all of the places where I made mistakes show up. There's some yarn overs in the wrong spot in the first major pattern. And I don't care one little bit, because I would rather have something finished than perfect, and I only discovered this error in the blocking after I had finished knitting the whole thing and had bound off and was laying it out ready to steam it and spray it and make it finished. And I said to myself, I just I couldn't stop laughing, actually. I just said, okay, there's some yarn overs in the wrong place. Oh well. And I really like it anyway. Yarn overs in the wrong place or not. It's a pie shawl, which is based on 3.14 Pythagorean. And I learned it when I was reading Elizabeth Zimmerman's books back when I was in college in the years. But Elizabeth changed the way a lot of people knit. She calmed us all down. She described things in very, very functional terms. You kind of trusted her. Knitting Without Tears was the first one that I got. And I got the Knitter's Almanac, which has a pie shawl right there on the front cover. And I also got the Knitting Workshop. Now, some of the information is duplicated, but you just don't care. And I have an extensive library of knitting books. This is my most treasured book because Elizabeth autographed it. And in it, she describes how to make a pie shawl in very clear terms. And you start with 9 stitches. You knit 1 round. Double the stitches, work yarn over, knit 1 around. You will have 18 stitches. Double again to 36, but you knit 6 rounds. So it's 1 round, 3 rounds, 6 rounds, and then you double again and knit 12 rounds. Double again, knit 24 rounds. Double again, 48. Well, by the time you get up to 576 stitches, your shawl is big enough. And she makes a comment that you could probably carry this out to infinity. And in Elizabeth's words, she says, I have no intention of knitting a lace carpet for a football field. And I just laughed out loud at that. But Elizabeth tells you, do not bind off in the usual manner. She has you cast on and then knit a little lace pattern sideways, while incorporating the edge stitches of your lace pattern sideways on one side with the shawl, and then you just keep going and then you graft them, and it takes forever because you're actually knitting something about that wide all the way around for X number of 576 rows. Actually double that. My math is not that good. But I used this reference book and chose a stretchy bind off. And instead of doing what I probably should have done, which is knit a little swatch and then test the bind off and then stretch it and block it and measure it and see if it works, no, I picked a bind off, and at one edge corner, I just bound off about that much. And then I tested it. And I said, nope, that's going to pucker. That's too tight. It's not the same as the stitches below it. So I tinked back, tink being knit spelled backwards, knitting backwards, and got back to the same number of stitches. And then I tried a different bind off. And when I had about this much, I tested it and said, oh yeah, this one's going to work. And then I just started binding off. And there were 650 stitches to bind off, probably because I had made some errors in the pattern and I had more than I should, but who's gonna notice? And then I set out to block it, and it's done, and I'm really happy with it, and it's got mistakes in it, and I don't care. As a matter of fact, they make me smile, and I think I like it even more. Because, again, I would rather have something finished than something perfect. And sometimes you don't chuck it in the phooey bucket. Sometimes you say, that's good enough. I'm happy. And that's all you need to be. So, enjoy your knitting. Keep knitting.